is controlled by Venezuela's dictator, Nicolas Maduro. U.S. spy agencies assess that while Maduro may tolerate the gang, he does not control it. But by linking him to Tren de Aragua, Trump is claiming the power to use military force in Venezuela.
When a country is unable or unwilling to prevent its territory from being used by non-state enemies, then we assert the right to act. That's how we went into Pakistan to kill Osama bin Laden. That could very quickly escalate into a conflict with Venezuela.
But why would Trump want to do that?
Un destructor mande sus soldados expertos en misiles a asaltar barcos atuneros. Estaban buscando un incidente militar.
Venezuela has suffered under Maduro. Right after, anything short of a land invasion isn't likely to topple Maduro.
This is a regime that fully controls its own military at the highest levels, has very sophisticated systems of espionage and control within that military, and I don't see him being willing to sacrifice U.S. lives, especially as a president who campaigned on an end to forever wars.
The war on terror started after 9/11, when Congress authorized President Bush to use force against basically anyone he could link to al-Qaeda. Later presidents used these broad limits to justify fighting in dozens of countries for 2 decades. It left the U.S. exhausted and, by some estimates, killed 4 million people, something
kill people that are bringing drugs into our country.
Trump is also claiming the power to kill suspected criminals. That's a much larger group than suspected terrorists linked to al-Qaeda. Mexican cartels are responsible for most of the drugs trafficked into the U.S., and Trump considered striking them before.
The president pulls me aside on at least a couple occasions and suggests that maybe we have the U.S. military shoot missiles into Mexico.
For what?
He would say to go after the cartels.
But the authority Trump is claiming could also include the power to strike the criminal groups those cartels work with, or any group Trump deems as putting the U.S. in danger. The problem is Trump is claiming the power to go to war against anyone, anywhere, forever.
What could be more of a forever war than going after a set of nameless, faceless cartels until they stop waging war on Americans, which I think we all know is, in some volume or other, never going to stop.
And if Trump can declare war on criminals, what's stopping other countries from doing it too?
Do we really want other governments to be able to say, well, I've got a criminal problem, so now I'm just going to call it an armed conflict and unleash combat power like I'm in a war? There's a human consequence for that.
Congress is supposed to place limits on the president's power to declare war. Trump is showing what can happen when it doesn't. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to Search Party yet, now is your chance to. I want to quickly talk to you about New Press. That's the organization that Johnny, myself, Christoph are building. It's a community-driven journalist project, which means we want to build a place where we can ask you questions about your country, your city, your sport, and you can help us tell some of these stories. So right now, if you use this QR code or go to the link in the description, you can sign up for the waiting list. You'll hear from Johnny Harris first, who's going to tell you what we're cooking up, and there will be a lot more to come. So if you're interested in helping us tell these stories, go to newpress.com. Thanks very much, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. In January 2024, police stopped a man in Porto Torres, Italy. In his bag was over 1 kilogram of heroin, specifically white heroin, the purest kind that only comes from one place, the region where Thailand, Laos, and Myanmar converge. A few months later, India's Coast Guard found over 5 kilograms of methamphetamine on this boat registered in Myanmar. And 3 months after that, authorities rescued more than 7,000 people from a cyber scam center, also in Myanmar.
They give us client number. We make relationship with him. When client say, I love you, then we start wash his brain.
Right now, a flood of drugs, crime, and other illicit materials are coming from Myanmar, which the Organized Crime Index now ranks as the new crime capital of the world. It's a shocking reversal for a country that just a few years ago was being celebrated for its democratic transformation.
The country has fallen deeper and deeper into a dystopia. The economy has collapsed. The country has become a source of refugees and misery, but along the way, also of a lot of criminal activity.
So why is so much crime concentrated in Myanmar? And is anyone looking for a solution, or are they making it worse? Many of Myanmar's problems began before it was an independent country. For more than 50 years, it was a British colony called Burma. During World War II, it was the site of vicious fighting.
Blasting the Jap with bomb and shell, they're holding open the Burma Road of the air.
In 1948, the Burmese won independence, but the new government faced a challenge. Its people were divided into several ethnic groups, and many wanted autonomy. Some formed ethnic militias. Then after just a decade, the Burmese military toppled the government, seized control, and started fighting the militias. This conflict would last for decades and would make it impossible for Burma to build a legitimate economy.
It should be one of the richest countries in Southeast Asia because in many ways its natural endowment is quite spectacular.
Sean Turnell is an economist and former advisor to Myanmar's opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi.
Unfortunately, though, it's just fallen by the wayside because of these constant interventions of the military. And they bring into the country a very doctrinaire version of state socialism. And so Myanmar becomes one of the poorest countries on the earth.
In the absence of a legitimate economy, many Burmese people instead made a living in the illegal economy. In the remote Shan state, that meant growing opium. It's the main ingredient in heroin. And up here, far from the military's control, drug lords grew a ton of it. Opium production picked up as heroin became more popular. Shan State, along with parts of Laos and Thailand, became known as the Golden Triangle, the most productive area for opium in the world behind Afghanistan. The opium trade added fuel to Burma's conflict. The military government allowed proxy militias to sell opium abroad in exchange for their loyalty, while ethnic militias taxed or trafficked opium and used the revenue to buy weapons and raise armies.
Hidden in the jungles of Burma is an army, 15,000 strong. These men are training for combat like soldiers everywhere. Only this is a private army, financed by drug money.
In the 2000s, the ethnic militias, along with economic sanctions imposed by other countries, pressured the military to make some reforms. It released political prisoners like Aung San Suu Kyi, and even allowed her party, the National League for Democracy, to run in elections. In 2015, the NLD won a majority, and Aung San Suu Kyi became the de facto leader of the country, since renamed Myanmar. Her government worked to reduce violence and crime. It even reduced opium production. For the first time in decades, elected leaders were making progress in Myanmar. But the military wouldn't let them get far.
This woman is recording a workout video, all while a military coup is going on behind her.
More episodes of SP means more research, which means traversing the internet, which means spam texts and more spam emails. But I stay protected thanks to my account with Incogni, and I'm thrilled to have Incogni sponsor another episode of Search Party. Now, there are these things called data brokers, and they take the personal information that you give out on the internet, your logins, your passwords, your addresses, even your social security numbers. And it sells that information often to marketing agencies. That's how you end up with spam texts and emails. But it's also how your information can fall into the hands of criminals. Now, we have the right to take that data back. It would just take ages and it would be a lot of work. Incogni is going to do it for you, and it just takes 3 easy steps. Step 1 is you create an account. You tell Incogni whose personal data you want them to take back. Step 2 is you give Incogni the right to work on your behalf. And step 3, you sit back and let Incogni handle it. It will go to the data brokers and it'll keep you informed every step of the way. The deal right now is that if you use the code SearchParty at incogni.com/searchparty, you're going to get 60% off their annual plan. Now, I've been using Incogni now for 2 years and I can tell you it works. It's great. If you want to support Search Party and you want to keep your personal data safe on the internet, Incogni is the way to do it. So thanks again to Incogni for supporting our work. Now I'm going to take you back to Myanmar. The NLD is in power, but the military is not far away.
Democracy comes, but the overall constitution still allowed immense say of the military. They completely controlled not only their own budget and all the other security forces like the police and the courts and all that, but also an ability to intervene at any point of their choosing.
The military chose February 1st, 2021.
They appear to have moved today to neutralize the government.
Aung San Suu Kyi and other civilian leaders have been detained.
At least 90 people have been shot dead in Myanmar.
After the military seized back power, some of Aung San Suu Kyi's supporters formed a shadow government with an armed wing. Then the military launched attacks all over the country, reigniting Myanmar's civil war. This time, it's deadlier than ever. In 4 years, the war has killed 75,000 people and displaced 3 million. In 2025, a massive earthquake struck Myanmar, destroying what little economy there was left. Now, there are hundreds of armed groups fighting in this war, but they mostly fall into 3 categories. There's the military and its proxy militias, the pro-democracy rebels and allied ethnic militias, and the ethnic militias not aligned with either side. Each of these groups control chunks of territory, where they are protecting and even relying on criminal enterprises to stay in the fight. In Shan State, the military and militias are once again turning to opium, but so are armed groups in the north and west. The result is more than twice as much opium is